Hey, this is Harts, and you're watching the AU review. Really positive feedback. Everybody on the internet has been writing in saying how much they love it, and obviously industry have really liked it as well, getting solid reviews, and yeah, it's been really encouraging. Noticed really Atlantic Records were kind of interested in doing some stuff, and it's really encouraging to get that industry positivity as well.
Yep. So you see a future there.
I think so. It's hard to say right now because I kind of looking at more of how I'm going to progress independently. But I'm definitely looking at options. It's amazing to get that kind of support from someone like iconic and legendary as Prince is like something you don't ever expect to happen, particularly when he's been such a big idol of mine in terms of making my sound and stuff like that. It was just a phenomenal experience to get that.
Yeah. And you got to meet him as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, it was really amazing. He was really humble and really down to earth, and he gave me a lot of advice and encouragement, and it really inspired me on how to progress from here and things like that. So yeah, it was amazing. He told me a bunch of stuff in terms of playing live and jamming stuff, because that was most of our time was spent playing live and playing together and things like that. And he gave me a lot of tips on how to do that and how to kind of use that in your songwriting to kind of write better material on the fly almost, and be more productive and more efficient with your songwriting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not on the album, no.
No?
I kind of the album was done in about March, and it was released in September because working on a strategy and all that sort of stuff for release. I was writing material as we were kind of working on the release, and I just got more material ready to go, and I kind of don't want to halt anything. I want to keep the ball rolling and keep that momentum going, so I decided to release another single after the album.
That was the next question. Is there more material in store?
Yeah, there is.
And
Yeah.
When will we get to see that?
Probably sometime next year. Like I don't want to rush things, but at the same time, if things are ready to go out and stuff like that, I think I should keep the momentum going, and hopefully, people appreciate that, and more content is better for me in terms of songs and things like that for people to enjoy. So hopefully whenever I can. Him and another guitarist called Buddy Guy were massive influences on the way I play guitar and the way I learnt to play. And I basically learnt from imitating them pretty much. So obviously they were a big influence in that. It's only kind of later now that I'm starting to really take influence from their songwriting and what they brought in terms of their songwriting. But guitar playing, I was always a big Hendrix fan, and I always probably will be.
So what's the live setup like?
Well, basically it's me, a bunch of electronics and things like that to kind of recreate the sound live. I use a lot of loop machines and playing bass lines on the keyboard, looping that, playing the synth, looping that, playing guitar over the top, singing and things like that, to kind of create like a one-man band experience. And that's kind of how I go about doing the live shows.
Yeah. Is there a big difference between the recorded version and the live version of the song?
Some songs, yeah. Some songs are really hard to kind of get across live, and they work better as a studio recording. But some songs are quite opposite. Like more of the rock stuff comes way better across live than it does in the recordings. And it's just kind of different things. And that's one of the things of covering so many areas of music. You're not always it's not always just going to be all good all the time in terms of translating from the studio to live. So yeah.
So are there songs on the track that you wouldn't play live?
Yeah, well I would if I could.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm looking into options of expanding and getting a band together again and trying to do that for bigger shows. So yeah. Yeah, so we released the album through Offtime Music worldwide, and in partnership with the A&R department and Pavement Records, and Shock Entertainment for Australia distributed it. But I'm kind of working with other artists now and things like that, and trying to develop a kind of label that kind of I think is unique in terms of its sound and its artists that it produces. And I think I've got a kind of real specific way of doing things, and I think it can be really helpful for other artists to kind of benefit off that. So that's what Offtime Music's about. Well, the name Offtime kind of comes from off time, as in time relating to genres, because basically, genres kind of conform to that time. You got 60s stuff, 70s stuff, and all that genres in between, all that sort of stuff. Off time is kind of off that, and like timeless music and things like that, and that's what I'm trying to look for in arts, kind of things that I think is timeless, or even if it is genre related, because everybody has to have some sort of genre, but something that can be kind of appealing to a wide variety. So yeah.